Angelic Teaching 4, session number 7. All right, it's time for us to dive into the energy part and to help you to release blockages, to go even deeper into your inner self, and to be able to tap into different other gifts. All right, let's go for it. Look into my eyes. I want you to focus more and more on your inner perceptions, what you feel from the energy work. Those changes of states, those inner waves from within, feeling almost the rhythm, the frequencies from within. Until now, we've been focusing a lot on how we could feel the energies from our outside shelf. And this time it's all about feeling it from within. Using each of our cells in order to perceive more accurately any shifts, any change, any specific energies that are surrounding it, that are surrounding us. By doing this, you increase your sensitivity, you increase your perceptions. It is like being able to be inside and being outside at the same time, being the flow of energy itself, and as well being the physical body. Perceiving those perspectives from all different aspects, from all different point of views. You're right. It is the start of being able to embrace all of it. And it starts from us. Being able to be the event and at the same time the surrounding environment. And each of those characters being involved in the picture. And then being able to be fluctuating from one and the other, being at the same time in all of them, and coming back to one, focusing on the other and being in one and focusing on that one. Each time it's different. If you're able to control yourself, to feel everything that's going on, each shift, each transition, each flow, each transmutation, then you're able to feel it, to see it on others. And then to be even more accurate in your healings, in your sessions. And for this, you need to feel. You need to be connected to your inside world. Remember that you're born on Earth at a specific time and space. Planets were surrounding you at that time, acting on you like magnets. Yes, the astrology is very important as well. It defines who you are as well. Henceforth, you also have moments in your life, in your months, in your week, in your days, where those planets activate part of you. It's like opening a door for you. And if you're ready to be embracing those frequencies when they come towards you, because you feel them from within, from inside of your body, you feel it's the right time to do it, then you have to do it. In terms of examples, I can tell you, well, it's like feeling that you have to record a specific teaching at a specific time or a specific day, and sometime on the opposite, feeling that it's not the right timing. And you can feel this burst of creativity coming through like waves that transport you, that fuels you. And you've got this thirst of receiving those downloads and transmitting them. And you just know that you have to be in front of the camera and just record it. Let the flow come through, let those channeling come through. Those teachings being printed on the camera. I was recording several recordings today and went to bed and I couldn't sleep. I knew I had to get up again and record more. It was like beyond measure. It's like it was something calling me to just get up and record them. So when you feel those callings for whatever it is, either you block them, either you let your mind be in control and say, well, it's time to go to bed, or you just follow the lead and you let things happen in the most amazing ways. What would it take for us to be always like that? Always listening to those inner messages, to those inner needs. Yes, you're right. That will mean going from one project to another and working with the flow. For example, when I plan to work on a specific project or to do a specific task, call someone, go for a meeting, I'm in front of the calendar. I focus on the frequency of the event that has to happen. And I just look at the days. And either I hear, for example, Tuesday, bing, and I know that I have to look through the calendar on a Tuesday, and I just go through the calendar of the Tuesdays of the month, and I just go until I find the right one, the one that is going to match the best with the frequency. That's how I set my day. And then I do the same thing for the hour. When I create, for example, a task, a reminder on my phone, for example, to call someone or to send an email at a specific time, I do the same thing. I feel what's the best time for it. This should remind you on how we create frequencies and how we play with those two buttons by adjusting our frequencies and finding the right frequency and intensity. Well, those settings that you've been used to by working with me again and again on those different patterns, now it's time to copy-paste this concept and use it in order to enhance your life. Remember, this level 4, it's all about blending the knowledge that you've been learning in terms of energy, all those different tools, and implementing therefore in your daily lives. Funny that the word that came first was daily lives instead of daily life. Yes, I do believe that we are having parts in different timelines, and being able to be here present in this lifetime and being as well acting on different other timelines. I really feel that. I know, for example, that when I will go sometimes in depression, I will know that all my energy would just be taken away from this world. I even had people, psychics, telling me that during a time period when they tried to connect with me and to be able to locate me and find where I was, what I was doing, how I was doing, they say that energetically they could not feel my energy being in this world anymore. And I knew that for me that meant that I was elsewhere. I know that when I go in those places where my body is lying on the bed and I just can't move, and I could stay like that for several days in a row. Just getting up out of it, snapping out of it just to eat something and just get back in bed. I'm not saying it's a nice thing to do, and you definitely want to experience that. I'm definitely not saying that. I'm saying that the extremes that I have to go through, it's almost like I'm doing some type of research, and I really understand that. It's almost like putting yourself in a state where you allow yourself to be elsewhere. I always has this thirst of understanding the ways of natures, on how understanding how life works, and what's the meaning of why we are here. I know that that's a thirst of mine. And I need to feel it. I need to be able to understand how it works. That's also my way of understanding things. I have to feel them, because feeling is one of my gifts that I put a lot of focus on and that I rely a lot on. Now, the more you're going to be able to find your own gifts and your own ways of understanding things, the more you're going to be able to integrate elements. People sometimes learn from experience, and that's me. It can be the experience of listening to a teacher and being in a classroom. It can be the experience of watching a video, because I'm very visual. Those are my experiences. And I remember I learned from that. It becomes encoded in me. I can really sense it. Remember what we talked about at the early beginning of the session. I sense it in my cells. It gets imprinted in my cells. The emotions that get created while I learn something, those are for me bullet points to which I can relate to and I can come back to energetically and remember things. Understanding the process on how you learn, how you remember things is important. I know that if I can relate to an emotion, I can relate to a feeling at a specific time, I can get back to that scene and bring it back as vivid as I would be there. Being able to replay the movie of that scene. Because there is this connection with the emotions, the feelings. Now you have to find what are yours. Do you have to be stimulated from your mind? Are you more stimulated when you hear, when you see, when you feel? Do you need to be in certain environments such as nature to make it work? Do you have to relate to a specific object that is familiar to you? Do you have to hold and touch things to remember things? You can anchor yourself and remember things that way. It would be, for example, touching a certain fabric. It could be touching a certain texture. An object could be a pen, a specific pen. I've seen people working with different types of pens, depending on the mood that they want to be in. Believing that if they want to be creative, they use that type of pen. If they want to be sending correspondence to their lover, they will use another pen. That's a belief, but that's also creating a pattern. Remember one of those different previous videos when I told you that depending on the activity that I want to do, if I want to record something, I will be putting myself at a certain location and orientate the camera into a specific direction, sitting on one side of the table or the other. All those different patterns. It's almost like you are preparing yourself for a certain activity, right? Almost tuning into a specific frequency, isn't it? See how you can blend those different realities. I'm bringing those different insights for you from so many different angles for you to grasp how this can work. Now, as we keep talking, I would like for you to feel that we are definitely this time increasing the level of frequency. You have to be able to hold a conversation at the same time as you do work on energy. Remember earlier we talked about being two people at the same time, being able to feel different things at the same time from different angle, different perspective, being the event and the surrounding environment at the same time. Being the wind and the leaf on the tree, and at the same time being the root of the trees. Being the bicycle that goes and carries one person and feeling the weight of that person on that bicycle. feeling the strength of the tires, the pressure within the tire. When you're able to do this all at once, simultaneously, you're one. You're one with everything. You just know everything. You just feel everything. And when you do that, you don't judge. You just are. It's like just being there in your presence, acknowledging those things. And then you start making edits on what you feel, working in different parameters. I know. That's the part where you move and you shift realities from actually feeling things and acting on things. Again, it's a belief. I do believe that if you focus enough on the tire of the bicycle, you can increase its pressure or decrease it. The same way, if you focus enough on the wind and you become yourself the wind, you're able to increase the strength of the wind. Each civilization has its own beliefs and manifestations and experiments on how energy works. There are tribes in Africa where the fighter, the hunter, goes on a hunt just by running after the animal is chasing. And I was struck by their analysis and how they explain that at one point they run and they become the animal. They start following the animal, breathing like the animal, moving like the animal. And we're talking about running 20 kilometers, following one animal, sensing it, seeing what they see, following their smell as you run at the same time. And they put themselves in a frequency where they become the animal. They are able to gain the strength and the resources. And the animal sees the soul of appear, and they're not any frightened anymore by your physical appearance, because they actually see yourself as being the animal, just like them. And that's where the hunter strikes. This capacity of transforming and becoming an illusion, and in fact, is it really an illusion? In shamanism, some shamans believe that they have the capacity of becoming physically the animal, transforming themselves and becoming that beast, becoming that amazing hawk flying in the air, up in the air. We're talking here about topics that are kind of defying our beliefs, and are tapping into the limits of our own beliefs. The levels and the frequencies at which we work right now allow you to start doing your own research. It's not just implementing things that you've been learning. It's discovering fields that you like best, things that you feel really connected to. And that could be anything. For some of you, it might be a link to numerology. Others might be linked to astrology. Other ones would be focusing more on karmic links, karmic debts, past life, regeneration, working on the cellular level. You all heard about this amazing man working on the memory of water, being able to imprint frequencies into water, and by bringing water to a state of ice and with a certain frequency encoded in it, by putting a label on a water bottle or a glass of water and putting the label and writing on the label one emotion like love or hate, and then putting this in the freezer, and then looking into the microscope and looking at the shapes of the snowflakes or ice flakes, and looking at the patterns and seeing that they kind of match, and those patterns of love definitely look like love, and patterns of hate, there is no way you can mix up the two. You really feel that one is one and the other is the other one. You feel the way they are structured, the way they're all aligned, the patterns that is being created. This person found his way, its own field of research. And as soon as you do that, as soon as you connect to what you really like, everything flows. Your passion is fueling the hours that you spend doing it. And it makes so much sense. Everything flows, becomes natural. You all have been learning about someone who just runs and they say, oh, he's a natural. Meaning, he didn't have to learn anything. He was just born like that and he's just good at it. Some people, you put them on stage and they just express feelings, emotions, they carry the crowd with them. And they just were born like that. You just put them in front of an audience and everything works. How is this possible? How can we relate to that? How can we even accept that those things are real? I like to believe that it's in us since the beginning. We just need to tap into it. I believe that we've got those capacities to embrace our path, our destiny. And as soon as we allow ourselves to walk towards that, doors open. And it works. I've seen people spending days and days trying to write an essay. And you've got this born natural who comes there and just focus, say, all right, I'll do it. Sits in front of the computer and just type. types words after word and sentences after sentences, paragraph after paragraph. Ends up with the 2,000 word page document. Just like that. I've been working with people with IQ of over 140. It's just amazing. It's mind-blowing. Their capacity of analyzing things, of learning things. And they would just wait until the last minute for their gift to be announced and then walk through thick layers of content and just read through it and just be able to tell you exactly what it was. Each person has different gifts. I've met amazing people who are very gifted in so many different ways. And for them, until they find ways in order to use those gifts make no sense. Yeah. When your gifts are so pushed to the limits, it becomes so weird. I've seen one person being able to write with both hands at the same time. In one hand she takes notes in English, in the other hand she takes notes in another language. How weird is that? And on one hand she writes from left to right, and the other hand she writes from right to left. You can't understand that. It's mind-blowing. What are your gifts? In which ways are you unique? What makes you so special? Again, we come back to your 3 primal energies that define you. Did you find them? Are you able to create that chart with the different colors? The spy divided in 3. It is interesting. I've seen people being able to sleep and next to them having a book and remembering everything that's in the book without having to open it. This guy was able to learn accounting within a night just by putting next to his bed a book of accounting. And the next morning, all the concepts of accounting, he would know them. Imagine you put this person in front of a library. Most of the time, our gifts are misused. Some people are very skilled in discovering other people's gifts and being able to put them to the right place, to the right location, doing the right tasks. Richard Branson is one of those people. He finds ways of expressing the best of his team. That's a skill. That's his gift. Imagine that he has difficulties of expressing himself, of talking. and he still was able to create an empire. In this world, we put a lot of focus on wealth and how one person is able to be successful. And we've got, on the other hand, the spirituality, and if you are to be spiritual, then you have to let go of all your belongings, and vice versa. What will it take for one person to embrace both aspects? I can talk to you about that topic because I've been experiencing it. I went as far as possible in both extremes. Dedicating all my time, each single minute of my day, to either one or the other. And I do know now it's time to embrace both. Why did I have to go towards one and towards the other, to the extreme? Maybe to be able to feel the extreme energies of them, the purest energies of each of them. And now being able to identify those different frequencies and be able to blend them into one. Still being able to act on each of those different frequencies differently. Now, what about the frequencies that we are working on right now? I told you, I ask you to be feeling those frequencies. Do you feel those shifts happening inside of you? The energies, the shifts come from within. It's like bubbles exploding from inside. Chain reactions taking place on a chemical level. Burst of energies. Imagine you being a boiling water, right? You feeling each event that's occurring within this boiling water. You becoming that particle of water being transformed into vapor, being carried away by the wind. Feeling on the outside of that atom, of each of those atoms, the wind, creating a friction on you as you move through the wind. That's what I'm talking about. The deeper you're going to connect with those different elements, the more you're going to be able to act on them. You become that element. Imagine being in a room and being at the same time each of those different objects that are surrounding you, all at once. Feeling the pressure of the table 5 meters away from you, from the tensions of the book lying on it. Feeling the particles of dust on the lamp at the corner of your room. feeling the texture of those particles. Of dust. Now visualizing and feeling you touching this lamp, and with your fingers taking that dust away and feeling that dust on your hand. How far can you go? I don't know if you remember, I told you one exercise one day where I'm able to go around the tree and with my hand, without touching the leaves, feeling the leaves, feeling the temperature of the leaves itself as I was about to touch them, and matching those perceptions that I feel to the actual feeling when I actually touched it. When you get to know your surrounding environment better and better, you get more and more accurate to those different feelings. We'll get back into it. Talk to you soon.